Hey everyone, and welcome back to iWeekly here on Tech Hub Wilts UK, your weekly roundup of the biggest Apple news, leaks, rumours and updates all in one place. This week, Apple may already be redesigning liquid glass in iOS 27 after early criticism. OpenAI is reportedly considering legal action against Apple, and in one of the biggest surprises of the week, Intel could now be making iPhone chips for Apple. As always, all stories are sourced from Mac Rumours, 9to5Mac and Apple Insider. So let's get into it. Now for our main story on 9to5Mac.com on Tuesday the 12th of May, iOS 27 to make key design changes to streamline liquid glass. So according to a new report, Apple may already be planning adjustments to the new liquid glass design language heading into iOS 27. Now personally, I'm actually a huge fan of liquid glass direction overall. I love the futuristic feel Apple was going for, and honestly I'd rather see Apple push forward with bold UA ideas instead of constantly playing it safe. But what I don't want is Apple to completely dumb it down because of early criticism online. Refine it? Absolutely. Improve usability and performance? Definitely. But don't suddenly make it boring again. One thing I've seen a lot of online is people saying the average users could get confused by this new visual direction, but honestly I disagree with that. I think iPhones are some of the most intuitive devices on the market. Apple's always been good at making complex technology feel simple to use, and that's from Steve Jobs' influence, I believe. I also think Apple needs to stick to their guns a bit more here. It feels like they're maybe reacting a little too quickly to criticism, and sometimes innovation needs time for people to adjust to it. So remember when iOS 7 launched? People hated that too at first. Now, one thing I do think Apple should prioritize though is battery life and performance alongside the visuals, because flashy animations are great, but if they hurt performance, especially on older devices, people will turn against it very quickly. Overall, I'm excited for Apple is heading with iOS 27, and personally, I'd much rather have a futuristic iPhone UI than return to older, safer designs. Now, let me know in the comments though, do you like the liquid glass direction, or do you think Apple should simplify it? Let me know in the comments, and as always, keep those kind. Now, over at macrumours.com on Monday the 11th of May, iOS 26.5 and iPadOS 26.5 released. So Apple officially released iOS 26.5 and iPadOS 26.5, as well as macOS 26.5, all the TVs as well. Basically everything. Specifically on the iOS devices, it supports end-to-end encryption with RCS support, new wallpapers and map improvements, just so they can add on advertising by the looks of it. Now, I've already installed the update, and honestly so far it's been really solid. Performance feels good, stability has been good, and thankfully I haven't really run into any major issues. And yes, I actually really like the new wallpaper too. For me personally though, performance improvements are still more important than flashy features nowadays. If my iPhone feels smooth, reliable and battery life stays strong, I'm happy. One of the biggest additions here is the encrypted RCS messaging, and honestly I think better encryption is always a good thing when it comes to our privacy. Especially now that more people communicate between iPhone and Android devices, stronger security is only going to become more important moving forward. I know some people feel Apple updates iOS too frequently now, but honestly I think the monthly update cycle is fine. It keeps the platform moving forward without feeling overwhelming. That said, I still think iOS 26 overall feels more like a stepping stone towards iOS 27 rather than a massively important update cycle on its own. Obviously we had the big change with liquid glass, but everything else is just a stepping stone. It feels like Apple's bigger ambitions are clearly focused on what's coming next. Then over at macrumours.com on Thursday the 14th of May, OpenAI considering legal action against Apple. Now, this one's definitely one of the most surprising stories of the week. According to reports, OpenAI could potentially be considering legal action against Apple over tensions surrounding Siri and AI partnerships. Honestly, this one surprised me because OpenAI integration inside iOS 26 actually made a lot of sense to me. But now, with rumours suggesting Apple may also be working more closely with Google for iOS 27 AI features, this could explain where some of the tension is coming from. Now, I do think Apple left AI too late overall, and I also think they announced Apple Intelligence too early before everything was fully ready. Because right now, Siri still feels massively behind modern conversational AI. And honestly, using my new Meta glasses recently really made that gap obvious to me. When you actually have a natural conversation with AI through devices like that, you suddenly realize Siri's still mainly used for smart home control, timers, and reminders. That's basically where Siri has stood for years now. Now, despite all that, I still trust Apple more than most companies when it comes to AI and privacy. Apple's privacy first approach is something I genuinely appreciate, and I think it's appealing. And personally, I wouldn't sacrifice privacy just to get more advanced AI features faster. I think Apple can eventually find the balance between privacy and innovation, even if they're currently behind. I also don't think Apple's made the wrong decision partnering with OpenAI for iOS 26. I actually think it was necessary to stay competitive while they continue developing their own AI systems internally. But right now, Apple Intelligence still feels more like hype than reality. And once you experience genuine conversational AI elsewhere, you really start to understand just how big the Siri gap is. Then on 9to5mac.com on Thursday the 14th of May, Intel is now making iPhone chips for Apple. Now, this story sounds shocking at first, but honestly, I wasn't hugely surprised because rumours about this have been floating around for a while now. From my perspective, this feels more strategic than anything else. I think this is mainly about supply chain stability and Apple reducing reliance on a single manufacturing partner, especially with global chip demand continuing to grow. Now, as somebody who has used both Intel Macs and Apple Silicon Macs, Apple Silicon completely changed the industry in my opinion. The jump in efficiency, thermals and performance was massive. So yes, I absolutely prefer Apple Silicon nowadays, but could Intel still deliver Apple level standards if they work closely together? Honestly, yes, I think they probably could. And personally, as long as performance stays excellent, I really don't care who physically manufactures the chips. Then on appleinsider.com on Wednesday the 13th of May, Apple says EU AI requirements are profoundly risky. So Apple also criticised new EU AI requirements this week, calling them profoundly risky. And honestly, the EU seems to introduce something new every single week lately, and it's starting to get exhausting trying to keep up with it all. Now, do I think AI regulation is necessary? Yes, absolutely. AI is incredibly powerful and it does need checks and protections in place. But at the same time, too much regulation absolutely risks slowing down innovation. And I do worry Europe could eventually fall behind countries like the US and China because of that. Now, personally, privacy still matters more to me than getting the absolute fastest AI features. That's one reason I still trust Apple more than many other companies in the AI space. And no, I don't think Apple's privacy first approach is permanently holding Siri back. I genuinely believe Apple will eventually find a way to balance privacy with more advanced AI experiences. And honestly, I do believe Apple genuinely cares about user privacy. I don't think it's just marketing. Privacy has been at the core part of Apple's identity for years now. And lastly, on appleinsider.com on Friday the 15th of May, AirPods Max development involved hundreds of variation over 5 years. So, Apple revealed that AirPods Max development involved hundreds of variations over a 5-year period. Honestly, this is such an Apple story. To some people, that probably sounds excessive, but this is exactly why Apple products feel premium. Apple invests huge amounts into research, development, and refinement before products ever launch. And yes, I've actually owned AirPods Max before. The sound quality was incredible, the ANC was incredible, and honestly I still think Apple leads the industry in ecosystem integration and user experience with headphones. The only reason I don't still own them is because for me personally they were honestly overkill for my use case. But if I found a really good deal on pre-loved first generation pair, I'd absolutely buy them again. Now, do I think they're overpriced? Yeah, definitely. But they also sound amazing. And honestly, I'd much rather Apple spend years refining premium products properly instead of rushing products out unfinished and fixing them later. That attention to detail is still one of Apple's biggest strengths. But that is going to do it for iWeekly episode 60. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave a like, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss future Apple news, rumours and weekly updates here on Tech Hub Wilts UK. And let me know below, what do you think about the liquid glass redesign rumours for iOS 27? And as always, keep those comments kind. Please follow me on Instagram and Threads and TikTok at Tech Hub Wilts UK. Check out my website at www.techhubwiltsuk.co.uk. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.